guys, how you doing? It's your host Les, another episode of Brothers of Influence. I am excited. I'm here with my brother Chris, one of the founding members. This whole thing came about from us just hanging out, me and Houston, just wanting to catch up with my guys. One of them, Brother Ken, Brother Allen, just wanting to catch up with them, but I was the main connection to all of them. They didn't know each other, so I just said, hell, let me kill two birds and let's link up at one particular place. And, so we all kind of like can get together because it was a short trip, So it was a Friday night. We all got up, and met at the wing spot. And, we just sat there, ordered some wings and, just build, and we sat there for about 3 hours.
Yeah, it was about 3 hours.
Yeah, and that time flew by so fast, you know what I'm saying? Because we were all kind of talking about things that we were passionate about, whether it's, welding, or, Brother Ken with the nonprofit organization in which he's giving back to the youth. Watch out for that episode. That's coming pretty soon. Me and Chris, we used to work together, in the welding industry. That kind of birthed us. We were just talking about, how, because for me, getting in welding, that was foreign to me. I was a suit and tie kind of guy in sales. And, when I got in the welding industry, I'd moved to Texas, so I was able to kind of like explore the opportunities that were available to me that I didn't really know about. So I was really amazed at that. And just through that journey of like, growing within my career, me and Chris, we ran into each other. We worked at the same company, and we started building from there. And ever since then, we just been connected ever since, and, so while we was just there sitting down talking and building, it was just such an amazing experience because I'm not gonna lie, it was just something that, I didn't do. It's not something I was accustomed to doing, you know what I'm saying? When I go out, I go to a lounge or something like that, but, to get together with some brothers and actually build and talk about something that, you could leave at the ending of the night with a lot of value to take away from that you can add to your life, that was priceless. You know what I'm saying? We were just building. So that's how the whole concept of Brothers of Influence came about. So that being said, right now, this is our thing. We usually on the chessboard, what I'm saying? It's what we do. We play online. We just about like, just them habits. Chris talk about them habits all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, listen, you guys know me already, so we're not gonna do too much talking about me. We're gonna get this game started in the meantime while we build. So Chris, man, all that knowledge, man, that we've been talking, why don't you just tell the audience about your history, your background, whatever, so they kind of get a good idea of like, what you about and everything.
Okay. Yeah, man, I was born, raised down south. Right now we're in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Share a bunch of knowledge with Les. When I first met Les, he's a real cool cat. Stayed to himself. A lot of people didn't understand him, but there's always been something up in him. He just had that. He was always just set apart from everybody at the job, And, a lot of people make fun, because they didn't understand him, but he was way ahead of his time. He was already dipping into being self-employed. Even while he was working, he just had like goals and he had a plan, even when I didn't have a plan, and and so later on in life, when I started moving a little bit different and attaining some knowledge and just really self-educating myself, and we met back up and our mindsets, and we just started building like even more, and I started getting like real aggressive and like, Les, look, this what I'm doing, and Les, look, man, look, I'm just really just amped up every morning on the financial literacy, and each one teach one, just building and just getting this welding industry out to the people. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people don't know about the money that and the opportunities that you can make for yourself and the self-employment opportunities too. It's just a lot, and just and let us know I'm real passionate about building self, and you know what I mean. If I can't build, you know what I mean. If I can't build with you, I can't chill with you. And so, but me and him met up in a perfect time in life, and you know, and so that's kind of like me and his history, and so we just basically talk on the phone every day, just building all the time, and man, you know, and just getting that out there. And me personally, I've been doing welding about 20 years. About 20 years I got into it. You know, started from welding Army tanks to freaking Navy ships to oil rigs, land rigs, and then I dipped into the specialty side of it. Started getting into more different aspects of it, and the more I learn, the more I earn, you know. And so, and I was sharing that with Les. I'm like, man, Les, I'm traveling the world now, you know. I'm going to freaking South America, you know. I mean, I'm going all over the place now, you know. I'm now earning a lot more money nowadays, you know. And I was just like, you know, man, you know, this, you know, I used to tell Les when we used to work, I was like, man, you know, even though he was always had that self-employed employment mentality, I used to be like, man, Les, like, simplify this formula right here, like times this, like, man, what if we can teach somebody how to weld for this price times this? And Les just look at the numbers like, man, this number is crazy. And so, you know, I told Les, I mean, you know, not only that, you're giving back, but, you know, it's something that you know, and you don't want to give that experience up, and also do that, and you can make money and also share that experience with somebody else, and so they can feed their family instead of just giving them a fish. You know, you're teaching them how to fish. They can eat forever, you know. And he got motivated on that, and he was telling me, look, Chris, I'm finna do the school, woo. And I was just like, man, that's awesome, man. You know, he motivated me even more. We motivate each other every day. Like, and I mean, you know, and he shared ideas with me, and I share ideas with him. And I mean, you know, and that's how we've been rocking. And so, yeah, and been just basically doing like that. So, you know, I just want to share to the world, you know, what the welding trade does for me and my family, you know, and what it's continuing to do. A lot of people don't know that in welding, I know especially down south, we have unions, but we have a lot of non-unions here. And it's a lot of opportunity for people. I mean, dropping out of high school, I meet 20-year-olds, I meet all type of profession in the construction industry. People with all kind of formula education background that didn't get a job, you know, paid all this money, athletes, everything that's all in the plan. And me, I like to talk, so only way you get that experience and get that experience from these people if you open your mouth and talk with them. And so I was sharing with Les, I was like, man, you know, I'm really getting into the financial literacy part because I want to leave a legacy to my kids now. You know, messed up a lot, you know, financially, you know, messed up a lot because, you know, nobody teaches you how to have financial literacy. And so we just conform just like everybody else, just grow up and just spend it as fast as we get it. And, you know, now, you know, I was making money. I'm like, man, you know, I'm living good. You know, I got everything I want to get accomplished. But, you know, and I just said to myself, like, man, I want more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like everybody else. It's kind of like what Dave Ramsey say, live like no one else, so later on you can live like no one else. And I just drove to work one day, man. I used to drive to work, and I was just like, man, I feel like a robot. You know, I feel like I'm living like everybody else. But if I don't make a change, even though I'm making decent money, you know, real good money, and if I don't make a change, somewhere and obtain some type of knowledge about money, I mean, you know, I'm gonna be basically like everybody else, living the American dream, getting the house, the car, the trips, the timeshares, and the credit cards and all that. And you look up and, you know, by the time your kids get ready to go to college, you can't even really help them out. You know, the only thing you can do is really co-sign for them. And they don't teach you that, you know, you start your kid life off with debt once you co-signing them on the loans and everything. So they don't teach you that you start your kids life off with that. And so the history repeats itself. So the parent don't know nothing about financial literacy, and, you know, and he passing it on to his kids, and they started life off with that. And so I started obtaining this knowledge. I'm like, I never knew that they had all type of programs where you could plan for your kids' college, you could put money away, invest this, and so your kid won't even have to start life off with debt, you know. And so I just started changing. I just find what the majority was doing, which I did, and I just did the complete opposite. So they said, if you want to be successful in life, you got to find out what majority of the people are doing and do the completely different opposite, you know. And so and I started doing that, just attaining more, and then I was just like, really getting aggressive with it and just learning. I was like, I was so excited to tell Les about it. I was like, man, Les, look, I didn't realize that you can accumulate wealth. It's just so simple. I didn't realize majority of the millionaires in the U.S. was first generation. I didn't know that, you know. So it's a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I was just like, man, I'm just excited every morning. I'm just making my changes, just really just walking the walk and just putting in the work. And I'm just like, man, you know, like I want to share this with the world. You know, I want to share this with everybody I know. You know, even if they don't take heed of it, I just, you know, drop a few seeds, hoping something come back, you know, and just getting aggressive with it. And I was just, me and my wife, we teamed up and we just started getting out of debt and just started really living reasonable, investing heavily, and just purchasing a few residuals, and just like my son, he's 14, and you know, and like I told my wife, I said, man, we can't wait till they get up in age and start trying to teach them stuff, because it's going to be too late, because they have their own mindset by then. I said, you got to start them off early, and so we caught them early, and so all the knowledge I obtain, and the more I get, I just feed it to them. And my son, he told me, he said, Dad, you got to look at your money like a person. He said, you got to go to work too. And, you know, that just clicked. I was like, man, it's good. You got it. You know what I mean? That's something my parents didn't give me, because, you know, everybody's, you know, conforming, everybody conforming and just doing what everybody else doing, and they don't even know, don't even realize what they're doing. It's just because, you know, it's just your tradition and condition taught the same thing to do, and you're not changing nothing. You're not changing your family tree. You're not leaving no legacy. You're not building. You know what I mean? You're just living like everybody else. You get the good job, you get the good house, and you go spend. You know what I mean? And you have no end game. And so, you know, I just got real. Once I started learning, I just got real aggressive. I'm like, man, if I can go to work, make good money, man, you know, I want to invest a good portion of my money. I want to live stress-free. So when I started eliminating debt and just paying cash for my cars, and, you know, I just wanted to take in and invest more than versus me taking out and not having nothing coming in return. And because it's just a mess up formula, and people just need to be aware of it. And but like with the welding trade give me that ability to invest heavily, because a lot of people don't realize I'm a high school dropout. You know, they told me my whole life, you know, if you don't finish school, I mean, you're not gonna make no money. I mean, you're not gonna be successful in life. So me, you know, my uncle, he told me about welding. He used to be a superintendent for a shipyard, and he told me about welding. I started learning how to weld at 18, and went to a trade school, and then I started learning more in the fields and stuff. And so in Houston, when I moved to Houston, they had a lot of on-the-job training there, and so you can go in these fab shops, work, get paid, and they'll train you on the job. And when you get trained up and ready to go, you can leave that job and make a crap ton of money. And and I was just learning that as I go, and got better and got better. The more my skill got better, the more money I made, and it ain't stopped from there. It just helped me out. But in the process, I just didn't know what to do with the money. I just did what everybody else did. And so me personally, like I told Les, I said, man, I started seeing people at work, they was old, getting old and stuff. So I started talking with them, I'm like, I thought the retirement age was 65, I'm like, we all making good money. Like, I thought the retirement age was 65. And a lot of those old heads that truthfully tell you the truth, I mean, they basically told me, man, look, if you don't plan ahead, you basically plan to fail. You'll be back at work in no time. If you don't save enough and you don't invest enough, you'll be back at work, because the amount of money that they saved, they thought they had enough, but they didn't, And so, a lot of people don't realize that, man. Retirement's not an age, it's a number. You get the right amount of number in there, you can retire early. And so, I just started really just getting on that. And so I started making some decent amount of money, and like I was telling Les, I didn't know it. We was meeting all kind of people, and you just link up with these people, and you do really good job for these people, and you get a good rapport. Man, these people, they turn you on to all kind of specialty work. You're working way overseas where they paying for everything. They pay your first class to go here. I mean, resorts. I mean, it's like you living like you're an NBA star or something. And I'm like, man, all this, and I was just like, wow. But they got all kind of avenues in the welding aspect. They got the turbines, especially work, General Electric. Man, they pay heavily money for that because all the equipment is precise. So you got to know what you're doing on that type of job. So they pay you tremendously. I was in Colombia, Bogota, and I sent Les a check stub for like 11 grand. I mean, in 1 week, and we was there like a month and a half. And I mean, my wife said I wasn't at work. I was basically on vacation. I mean, which she really truthfully was telling. But I said, man, that ain't bad for a high school dropout. But I just tell anybody, I encourage anybody that, I mean, everybody don't need college to be successful. I mean, it's not about what you make, it's about what you do with it. You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't do nothing with it, and it defeat the purpose. It just means you just gave it all away. And so, yeah, man, and that's basically where I'm at with it. So, like I said, I encouraged Les to open the school, and I started opening a privately school. And like I told Les, I can't see myself not doing nothing else, even in business. I still want to basically give this trade to people because I've seen what it does for people's life. And I've seen a lot of cats that didn't know how to weld. They could barely make ends meet, and I took my time out, showed them how to weld, and man, they went very far in their career. They went very, very far in their career, started making more than me. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I just want to give it back, get this trade back to a lot of, especially a lot of brothers, man. They don't know nothing about the trade. A lot of people don't know. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's basically how I started and basically where I'm at with it. And
I know you're a big advocate. You teach your son a lot about, how to conduct themselves and how to look at, money and finances and all these kind of things, and just building the right habits. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you talk about, certain things you do with him to kind of get him situated?
Yeah, most definitely. like I was explaining to a guy at work, you know, I said, man, you know, we definitely need to take extra time and do the work. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they complain. A lot of people see a lot of problems in the world, especially nowadays. And I see a lot of problems nowadays, but a lot of people, like I told a guy at work, I say, man, look, I tell you, like my grandmother always told me, you got to sweep around your own front door before you sweep around somebody else. Because I said, man, if you not putting in that work at your house, I said, how you trying to fight some other cause, but you're not even establishing nothing at your house? I mean, you know, you ain't making no type of changes at your house. You're letting everybody else raise your kids except you. I said, man, you know, me, I used to always think in my head, if you put a roof, clothes, food on your table, that was it. That's all you did, you know, and pay the bills and everything. That was it. You raising a kid. And, you know, and I was like, I'm glad I caught myself later on. I was like, man, that is totally wrong. That's a part. You also got to feed that kid knowledge, and you got to give him some knowledge that's some tools that he's going to be able to carry in life. And, you know, and you also got to set the example, and you got to walk that. You know what I mean? You got to be the example so they can see that, hey, my parents ain't all just about talk. They build this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do the same thing. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, man. You got to put in that work. Like me, for my son and my daughter, you know, everything I learn, I teach them. You know, we take time out. I say, man, you know, okay, this week we're gonna go over this how to become a first generation millionaire. You know, so I'm telling this at 10 years old. You know, I say, hey, man, look, I know you're not interested now, but this right here is so important. I'm gonna keep feeding it to you until you get it, until you love it, because I have to. This is my job, you know, because you're not gonna be hit blindside when you're going out in the world in life. You're gonna get a fair chance in life at a head start, you know. So with my son and my daughter, I take like I got a financial advisor. Les share the same financial advisor, and like for my son, I asked it was his birthday. It was his 11th birthday, and I asked him, you know, asked my financial advisor. I said, man, is there anything I can put my son in so he can start obtaining some type of wealth? I did my own research first. I said, heard about custodial IRAs, you know, that how all these people employing their babies as like baby models, while they taking pictures and stuff, and it's a way where they can filter the money. They can pay them a certain amount of money a year and put it in their own IRA. So they got babies, they got having net worth, you know, creating wealth. And that's how they started. But there's a lot of stuff that the government got set up that that a lot of people got to go searching for. They don't know. And so my financial advisor said, yeah, we can set them up. We'll set up a conference call on Zoom, and we'll get your son and we'll explain to him how it works. So for his birthday, they explained to him, hey, this is how a mutual fund works, and a custodial IRA, you put this amount in here, times this, and this what you'll have at this age. And he was all game for it because he understand. I said, son, you know, if your grandmother's sending you some money, I said, would you do like your little cousins? Would you buy a video game with $1,000? It was $1,000. That's what I was telling. If your grandmother sent you $1,000, would you buy a video game console, or would you invest your $1,000 in a business, some type of business adventure, and try to make some money and flip your money, and then come back and buy your video game later, and you still got money producing, and versus you spending your money and nothing coming back, and all you have is just a video game. And he told me, he said, hey, Dad, I would want to do a business adventure, and I buy the game later. I'm not worried about it. So that's his mindset nowadays, because I had to expose him to that, because I told him, you know, a long time ago, you don't want to be caught up in being a consumer. You want to be a producer. I said, because you got to get that mindset, because you don't want to be caught up in consuming all the time. You want to live your life, yeah, that's cool. But at the same time, we're so far behind that we don't have time to really be playing games. We got to be on it at an early age. We got to be on it, and so that's his mindset. So his thing, he loved making money. But I show him, they got all kind of cartoons. Warren Buffett, he got cartoons that show financial literacy for the kids, and and simplicity, so they can understand what a freaking shareholder is, and shares, and net worth, all kinds of stuff, and he gets it, and I explain to him the big boy stuff too. I explain to him, how everything works, how your economy works, the history of the Standard & Poor 500. I explain to him all that, and so he can understand, so he can make a better judgment himself and say, hey, I don't want to go through this. My dad went through this, and I don't want to go through this when he shouldn't have to. So, I just share those kind of stuff. So he talked with my financial advisor, and we just educate like that. Just basically how we do count. So he resells stuff on Let Go. He's about to start his own vending machine business. He came up with the idea of putting face masks in the vending machines and stuff, because a lot of people, be going after the respirators right now. I mean, face masks and whatnot. And so I told him, and he talks about retirement. He's 14 years old. He talks about retirement right now. He checks his portfolio, and he tells me, Dad, I got this certain amount. It grew this much, and it depleted this much, and I explained to him how I work, and he gets it. He gets it, and I teaching him. I also teach him a trade. Been teaching him welding. He's liking that, So I basically told him, it's always good to have a trade, because trades are never going nowhere. I mean, and you can always be self-employed with yourself. You ain't got to always work for somebody. And so basically, I've been teaching him that since he's 14 now. So he's been learning welding. I teach him that, and he's pretty much getting equipped for the world. And I teach him just basically everything that he need to learn that a school wouldn't teach him. For your tools for life, and just give him a head start. And my whole purpose is I tell them I'm taking the long route so y'all can take the short route. So basically, I tell them, hey man, look, I want you to take advantage of when I go to a lot of small business and different other business, people are taking advantage of nepotism. I say, that's what I want for you. I really want to leave you a legacy. I want you to work for either your family or for yourself. I want to be able to secure a job for you. I want to be able to, have those positions for you. Say, hey, you want to take off when you want to, and you have a automatic salary all the time. You just got to show up and manage your money. Manage your money, because you already got the manage your money part. And you're 14 years old, and it just come up, and you got a guaranteed spot. You take advantage of nepotism. And he understands that, and like I told him, you can go to college, you can do this, whatever, whatever you want to do, but also have this lined up so you can be successful and you can retire at an early age. You ain't gotta wait till you're in your 40s or 50s or nothing like that. You can retire in your 30s or your 20s, but you just gotta start early, because that's how compounding interest work. A lot of people don't realize that. Albert Einstein said compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So, basically with that formula, that's how your mutual funds and your retirement are set up. Your money creates money off of nothing. So you could put a certain amount at an early age and don't even invest in it, and it's just growing together with the interest, the principal and the interest, they're growing together and together. And the more early on, the bigger the numbers get. So, and the longer you keep it in there. So, I teach them a lot about instant gratification and delayed gratification. I show them all the mistakes I made, financing cars, and tell them the right way how to go about a car. I teach them about your first house. Your first house is supposed to be an investment house. Don't get caught up like everybody else in America, 70% of them buying a house and saying, hey, I made it, and they don't realize if you look at your house, your first house is an investment house. Then later on, you wait on that delayed gratification. You can buy any house you want to buy. But you look at your house, your first house is an investment house. I'm not talking a single family saying, hey, you're young, you don't have kids yet, saying, hey, get your duplex, live on one side and let them pay the house off, and the other side pay the house off. Or get you a triplex, like me and my wife. We had the single family homes, the 2 stories and all that. And we just pay the mortgage every month and just live like everybody else. People don't realize 8 out of 10 of people that live in subdivision or living check to check, no matter what profession it is, no matter if they have this education or this job. I see it every day. And I know a lot of people personally that makes a crap ton of money and they live check to check. And, I just don't want him to be like that or my daughter to be like that. It's nothing wrong with purchasing a house, but it's a time, build you some type of wealth before you start obtaining that kind of selfish home, the single family homes. And so you'll feel good knowing that, hey man, I have a duplex over here. I have a triplex over here. I have a quadplex over here. And all of these people are paying, I got all these residuals coming in. Now I don't have to work for nobody. I can purchase me any kind of house I want when I want, instead of me just purchasing that one big house and people calling it an investment. Like I told Les, I said, man, I don't see a single family home as an investment, your first home. Me personally, I said, man, I was in a house for 7.5 years. I said, man, I paid $132,000 for the house and stayed in 7.5 years and sold it. And the payments, when I'm looking on the printout from the bank statements, I paid almost $119,000 for the house in 7.5 years. Well, they cut me a check and I sold it, ended up giving me roughly like $60,000. And so I told my wife, how is this an investment? I said, we sold the house for more than what it's worth. They cut us a check for $60,000. We paid $119,000 in payments. The house was pretty much paid off, and we still had 23 more years to go. And I said, so half of $120,000 basically is $60,000. We basically got half our money back off of this house. That's a single family. That's what single family gets you. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's, well, it's an investment. No, it's not. And as a lot of people say, and I argue with this, and I try to tell Les all the time, when they say renting is more expensive than buying a house. I said, yeah, if you plan on living in there 10 or more years, but if you've got a 5-year, plan, there's nothing wrong with renting. I said, because you got to look at it. Yeah, your apartment might be $1,200, but your mortgage is $1,200, right? So they sell this. I don't know where the ideal came from, but they sell it so much on TV and in the world that you're losing when you're renting. Okay, if that person had a plan and they was building some wealth in those 5 years, and they go buy my house, they didn't lose nothing. Now that person living in that house for 5 years, they didn't build no type of wealth, $1,200 a month, paying their mortgage, and you don't realize you got to do upkeep, grass, change your filters every so much in your house for your AC. Anything break in there, you got to repair it. You got to fully furnish everything in there. And if you like my wife, she changed stuff like every year. So that's more stuff, you accumulate so much stuff, and you got to furnish each and every one of these rooms, upkeep the grass, upkeep the grass cut, your HOA fees, your home owner's assurance fees. It's a lot versus renting. When renting, you pay $1,200, you pay your lights and the other utilities, what you had to pay, and you're done. And you got your little plan. I know a bunch of people that was living in apartments that had 5 businesses. So that is basically a myth. But if you plan on staying in an apartment for 10 or more years or 20 years, yeah, you could be losing a lot of money if you ain't had no plan, within those years or whatever. You basically paying for somebody else's mortgage. But I don't see a single family home as an investment. I see it as in my eyes, in my opinion, I see it as a trap, because a lot of people don't realize it don't matter if you're trying to be in the middle class. If you're trying to be in the middle class, a lot of people in the middle class are what they call is well dressed up poverty. A lot of people are living check to check, and it look good on the outside, and I've seen it, man. I seen it in my neighborhood, my suburbs, while I was buying my house. This neighbor would get their flooring done and get all this done. You go see it in the house, and then you go to your house, you like, man, I want that flooring done. My flooring got carpet in it, sucks. So guess what you do? You ask your neighbor, hey man, who did your floor, da da da. And your neighbor, he whips out his wallet, and he got freaking all kinds of credit cards in there, Home Depot, Lowe's, and you go do the same thing, and you're like, it's just keeping up with the Jones mentality a lot in the subdivision. It's almost like a trap, man, because a lot of people, it's hard for you to build wealth when you got to pay a mortgage, a car note, this car note, a timeshare. I mean, everybody over your house, partying, this, that, and the third. It's hard to build wealth when you got all these bills on the table, and you're going to work with all this, putting up with all kinds of, dealing with stress on the daily. Then you got to go fight the traffic. I mean, it's just horrible. A lot of people think, well, you're not living your life. Yeah, you are living your life. If I'm not living my life, I wake up stress-free every morning, I wake up stress-free every morning nowadays because I don't have to worry about if I lost a job or will they come get this or whatever. Now I have some residuals basically paying for, creating other resources of income. I got residuals paying for this stuff and that, and then I also take in positive cash flow from the residuals. So it's like you can't lose. So you're just getting ready for something greater later. You just building up your net worth and just accumulate more wealth. Not only that, and you got other aspects of investment. Like I said, with the retirement stuff. So you got all kinds of drivers. You got all kind of vehicles set up in place, investment vehicles set up in place for success. But you can't do that if you put that American dream in front of all that, because a lot of people don't realize they get out of college, and even if they don't get out of college, and they obtain a good job and make good money, and and they don't have no plans with that money, and they just say, hey man, I want to go buy a house, I want to go buy a car, I want to do this, I want to get married, I want to have the kids, and you got all this, and you don't realize, like, yeah man, you freaking 50, and it's like, I'm gonna be working for the rest of my life if I don't change and do something different. They told me this was the way. You do this, you made it out of here, especially if you came from, any kind of ghetto or anything, like, you grew up not having nothing. You're like, man, I done made it. You're really not. Like, you one paycheck from back in, and you're not in a better situation than somebody is in a ghetto. You're not. A lot of people think they is because the car, but they could come get your car because you don't own it. They can come get your house because you don't own it. And a lot of people don't understand that. I see a lot of people get hit, man, all the time. People passing away, and and they can't afford to keep up with that mortgage. The other half can't afford to keep up with that mortgage. They have to let a lot of that stuff go. And like I said, like Warren Buffett said, all the time, you can tell who's been skinny dipping when the tide leaves, because when that tide hits, you can tell who been skinny dipping, who's not been preparing for for any kind of emergencies, you know, and it just exposed a lot of people with their finances when a lot of emergencies hit. You know, people don't understand that. So me, my peace of mind is more important than anything in the world than versus me stressing to try to have to pay this bill and to pay this bill and to pay that bill and live check to check, and just because your friends is living this way and that way, you know, it's just, my peace of mind is everything. Leaving legacy is everything to me. So, you know, I just don't want to live my life working in vain. You know, man, I want to be able to leave a legacy. You know, my parents didn't do it for me. Their parents didn't do it for them, and I want to change that. You know, so that's what I wake up, breathing, eat and breathe every morning. Just building that legacy, setting an example, teaching, each one teach one, and just building. That's how I build my relationships.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And plus, too, you change your eating habits as well. Like,
yeah.
You can tip as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's also very important.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that journey and how you came about?
Well, me and my wife, we started about, I want to say, almost 5 years now. We got into, I wouldn't even just call it vegan, because I don't like putting labels on it nowadays. I would just say more conscious. Conscious of the way of eating. So, you know, I was always in tune with like my body. You know what I mean? I was always in tune with it. I could tell when it's acting up, when I put certain stuff in it. And, you know, I just got tired of feeling like that. So I just started searching, you know what I mean? Just started reading about eating healthy. So I started just getting into it and working out, and just started eating a little bit better, just really learning. And I just got better over time. So I just started reacting on, like if they say you got your group of people dying from kidney failure, you know, and I started learning, like, you know, I had a lot of medical people in my family, you know, and you go over their house or something like that, you know, I'm looking like, where's the water? You know, I'm like, they say we dying from kidney failure. A lot of our people don't like drinking water. So I'm like, man, you know, I need to, you know, your body makes up a good percentage of water. If I'm not mistaken, it's 70%. So you need that water in your body. So it's very important to have it. So I started getting real knowledgeable about that, and then started sharing it with my kids. I'm like, look, we're leaving here from kidney failure because we don't drink enough water. We got this in the house, that in the house, this, that in the house. Like, you need to start making some changes, you know what I mean? If you want to. So I share that with my kids, you know, like, hey, look, I'm gonna give you all the tools you need so you can carry on in life, so you ain't got to be in and out of the hospital all the time, because there ain't no money in healthy people. It's money in sick people. So I said, you know, we start drinking. As soon as you wake up in the morning, it's important to do this. I'm gonna show you all the information why you should do this, and show you why you should do this, and what happened if you don't do this. And so, you know, I share with my kids all the time, like, you know, this can happen. You can lose teeth because you're dehydrated. You can lose teeth early. You can have kidney failure. Your skin, your skin. A lot of people don't realize your skin and everything, your acne, everything has got a lot to do with your how alkaline your body is and how hydrated you are. And so we started getting serious about that. And the food, the eating aspect, we started getting. I used to go to work, and I just feel like sluggish, you know, and I'm just like, man, God, you know, go to the hospital, and they're like, oh, take this pill. Got acid reflux, take this pill. And, you know, and got all kinds of side effects that say, man, you know, you got kidney failure from taking this acid reflux pill. When I obtained some information, like, and some knowledge, like, okay, if I want to get rid of acid reflux, all I got to do is cut back on eating a lot of greasy stuff and a lot of fried foods and a lot of junks. And my acid reflux gone. Why are you prescribing me a pill for a year, to take that I can take a risk of my kidneys failing? Just paying attention to that kind of little stuff. I'm like, man, it's like, you got to be well-rounded on a lot of knowledge, because if not, you can be victimized. You can be victimized financially, health-wise. I mean, everything. If you're not knowledgeable about it, not willing to have some critical thinking skills and obtain some information and make some changes, you can be victimized a lot. And you can leave here prematurely, like it's nothing. I know a lot of guys I grew up with left here prematurely. It just, a lot of people just conform and just do what everybody else did just because we grew up a certain kind of way. I mean, you can break that cycle. You just got to obtain some information and apply it and walk it. You know what I mean? And you'll see the change. And so I just really just started paying attention to it. So I like my energy. I like feeling good in the morning. I like feeling good when I'm at work. I like feeling good before I go work out. I just like feeling good, and I wasn't feeling like that. So whatever I was eating was killing my energy. It was just like, it's just every day I go to work, it's just like it's a 70-pound monkey on my back just holding on to me. And I'm like, man, what is this? And so I just started learning more different ways. And I started, I'm like, dang, okay, I didn't realize it's what you eat. It's what you eat is how you're gonna feel, because that's what you put in your body. You're really supposed to eat to live, not live to eat, basically. Right. So you're not supposed to indulge in your food. You're basically supposed to eat for nutrition. So if it's not nutrition, you're not supposed to basically put it in your body. Right. And so I never knew none of this stuff. I grew up eating a certain kind of way. I mean, we grew up where, my grandmother, she was on government assistance. She fed us what she can feed us, which is cool. I don't have no regrets. But I'm like, for my kids, I'm giving them a fair chance at life and health and everything. Right. No, you're going to learn about what this does for your body. I'm going to give you a fair chance. So when you go out there in the world on your own, you'll be able to make a better decision for yourself versus me being an adult, have to learn how to take care of my health. Right. And so, that's basically, so I just started paying attention to a lot of different stuff like meats and stuff. I would eat beef, and it was just like, I would just feel bad. Like, man, like, I like beef. I'm like, why I'm feeling like this? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm reading, I'm like, okay, I see why I'm feeling like I'm in tune with my body on everything. Like, wow, I'm feeling like this. And so I took it out of my diet, and I just started feeling like better. Just like everything, just like, you started feeling better, you started looking younger. I mean, it just felt better, every day. It just, your brain more alert and everything. And so, even with everything else, I started just leaning more to seafood. And me personally, I mean, a lot of people don't realize when you're a kid, when you eat certain kind of stuff, when you're a kid, your taste buds never forget that kind of taste. So I used to taste a lot of seafood, and you can tell how natural it was when I was coming up as a kid. When I was a kid, nowadays when I eat it, it's like, man, it's weird. Like, have no kind of wild taste to it, And it was just like, man, like, I didn't like it. So it was easy for me to like, hey, man, I just throw this out. And I started learning why it tasted like the way it did nowadays. And I was like, oh, it's a good thing I got rid of that. Yeah, so I just really just paid attention to it. And it just feel like you're on top of the world. When you're on that, it just feel like it's just a line with what they call it, what kind of person they call it? They call it high performance person. Like yourself, you're a high performance person. That aligns with your food too. If you're a high performance person, if you eating right, I mean, your energy is natural. It's already you up. You ready to go. You ready to take on the world. But what you put in your body, you're gonna times 10 that. Like you're alert. Like you're ready to go. Maybe you can beat me in chess You know what I mean? If you get better, you know.
Speaking of that, all right. So yeah, so that's what it is from my boy Chris, man. Listen, man, I really appreciate this brother. And speaking of influence, let me tell you, like, just by knowing this dude, like, we share the same financial advisor because he put me on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm ambitious, I'm a business owner, but I wasn't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on the forefront of my mind. It's like a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate this brother. And listen, when I consider all these things, matter of fact, my welding school came from this man. Like, I forgot that he was the one who introduced me to the concept, and I thought about it and it made sense. You know what I'm saying? And I went forward. You know what I mean? And at the ending of the day, guys, you have to understand that, like, I haven't been in the welding industry that long. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us feel like we have to wait for the perfect circumstances, whatever. You don't have to wait for the perfect circumstance. You just got to get started, you know? So, you know, most of all, I would say, you know, influence is very important. Get people around you in your circle that motivates you, that helps you get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Let's put aside all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we cool because we cool. Like, watch your circle. See how it's affecting you. You know what I mean? That's important. So, you know, that's being said, listen, brother, as always,